to get it started. This is our moment. Turn the level way up till it's high voltage. We gon' light them up, make the world take notice. When the game face on, then it's game over. You a witness and a force to be flagship. Grinding for greatness. Proving the test.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Foul Ball Talk here on Pigtown Sports. Matt Trigger, Tim Malarkey, and Zach Moore. What's going on, boys?
Another day, another dollar, I guess.
Yeah. I'm straight up not having a good time.
Why not?
Because we suck. We're fucking terrible. I know there's some overs and unders on goddams and fire hides. I'm just gonna get that out of the way right now. Goddams is probably gonna happen. But fire hide, I'm starting off with it. This dude sucks. Get him off of this fucking team. They better fire his ass by June 1st. I can't sit through months of this shit. It's the most uninspired baseball team I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that, Matt. It's what we saw in 2023 is it never mattered the score, 8th, 9th inning, down 5. It didn't matter. This team fought to the end, and they took competitive at-bats late in the game. And you've seen it a little bit in 24, not much in the second half. And now it's like if they score 3 runs by the 3rd inning, like it's over. Like the game is over. Their competitive at-bats are gone. Everything is just, okay, yeah, sure, they're still hitting the ball hard, but it's on the ground or it's a pop out. Like just no emotion. Like that's not a championship baseball team that we're watching.
It's not. And Tim, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm at a loss for words. I haven't even said anything yet just because I'm so frustrated. I mean, it was hard for me to muster the strength to jump on here tonight. Like, I am like overly drained from what this Orioles team is putting out. And I feel like it's a direct relation to what I'm seeing going on this bench and in this clubhouse. And like, you hear it in the post-game interviews with the players. Hyde, that's a different story. He's going to coach speak all the way through. But like you guys were just saying, there's no emotion. There's no, like, there doesn't feel like there's any desire. Like I was reading today and a guy put it best, and it's the same team that we've seen since the break last year, where they just looked like there's no like heart almost. And I know these guys want to play ball, but it just looks like they don't care. Like prime example, last year Heston gets pegged in the head. The only 2 guys that were out of that dugout ready to swing, other than the manager, which was a surprise to me, were Ryan O'Hearn and James McCann. And I think Tony Taters was in tail, but other than that, it's like
the 3 biggest guys.
Yeah, and these guys just kind of, the rest of them are kind of standing there spinning around in circles like, oh, what do we do? And it's almost sort of like that's the same emotion we're seeing from this team. There isn't any. They're like, who in this clubhouse right now would you say, if you had to guess, you heard somebody stood up flipped a table over and stood up and punched a hole in a locker and screamed at the team? Who on this team would you say did that? There isn't anyone.
Nobody.
Ryan O'Hearn would be my only guess. I wouldn't think he'd do it, but he would be my only guess.
I have a couple questions for you guys that I wanted to pose to you, because this is a show coming off of the heels of a 22-point loss. It was a fucking football score yesterday on Easter.
Yeah, and to touch on that, Thomas makes a good point.
Yeah. At what point is enough? We're just for what's going on. We're a month into the season. This is a month right here. We've won 1 series. We can't string together more than 2 wins in a row. This offense that has all these good hitters, great hitters. At what point? When is when? Nothing is inspiring these guys. Something major has to happen.
Do you think that even fixes anything? Like when you look at the mentality of this team right now, do you think that it's just as simple as fire Brandon Hyde and everything fixes itself?
I think it's a shot in the arm.
Could be.
I mean, because the thing is, these guys are in the same
fucking Drew
routine already.
Shut up, Drew. But thanks for being here.
These guys are in the routine to where you could already see that they're in the same. They're going through the motions like last year.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you got a front office or whatever you want to call it that's trying to save face. I mean, we everybody in here knows about it. What came out today? Brilliant marketing scheme of them to roll out direct to consumer through the Masson app the day after they just got smacked by 22 runs. The offense can't hit a ball to save its life. I mean,
Paid $20 the rest of the
Do you
season
think
every single
maybe
month.
that was like scheduled just because like today was a day off kind of thing? So it was
Yeah.
already like
It was scheduled. There's no that's not going to save this.
Yeah.
If you want to say, make an announcement on a day off, Brandon Hyde's been fired and Freddie Garcia is our new manager, or Buck Britton's taking over as interim manager.
Tim and I were just talking about that. Like the problem is, and we neither one of us, I don't think, really see Hyde going anywhere because are you comfortable taking this team who Brandon Hyde honestly says to me sounds like mentally soft. When his
They all
comments
are.
talking about
You're a
having
product
trouble
of
like
your
letting
coach.
go, like do you want to throw a rookie manager, either Torrinos or Buck Britton? Do you want to throw them into that? Like, yeah, I think they would respond to Buck a little bit better because he's probably already seen them kind of go through this a little bit. But at the major league level, like, is it worth throwing a rookie coach into that for a team that has such high expectations?
No, you go and get Freddie. You go and bring him back. You go and get somebody that's currently sitting out there. Here's what's crazy to me is everybody that's played at sports at any level, whether it's high school, all the way down to Pee Wee, up to the minors or the majors. Zach, you've played at every level that there is to play, with the exception of the bigs, and you take on the mentality of your leader.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what sport you play. The Ravens embodied John Harbaugh.
No wonder they can't win.
every
Exactly.
sport that I
I
ever
shouldn't have said
played,
that.
like you just said, Matt, every sport I ever played, Pee Wee, especially being at St. Joe, all boys, very competitive, athletic, high school in Maryland, the best conference in Maryland. When we got our ass kicked, and if we got our ass kicked, not only was the coach in the locker room flipping tables, cursing up a storm, there were players, there were individuals on the team that would voice openly their frustrations. It wouldn't be necessarily directed at somebody. Sometimes it was, but there was, verbal disagreements, anger, upsetness. I know you saw multiple helmets go through lockers, Matt.
Yeah, because
and
we sucked.
and it was
We won 7 varsity games in my 4 years there, it seems like.
yeah. And did you
But-
go into the locker room and hop on Golden Tee?
No.
No.
No. But I mean, that's a different era of sports altogether.
Yeah.
But right now, these players are embodying the mentality of their manager.
Moping around.
This is there's no morale, there's no fire, there's no accountability. You keep on saying it's early, or okay, we're a month in, and what are we doing? It's like you're okay with being in a hole, like we shared in the group chat. You guys shared in the group chat yesterday. The AL wild card standings. The Orioles are 2.5 games out. It's fucking April 20th.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, the Orioles are 2.5 out of the wild card.
Yeah, that was JCM. I was like, that's not a good time, Jacob.
These writers are tone deaf. The people that cover the team are tone deaf, because they're not trying to ruffle feathers and get their credentials yanked. I get it. But there's no accountability with these guys. They're going out there and going through the motions for 9 innings. Jorge Mateo was pitching on Easter.
That was about the only value that he provides the Orioles.
Right. I mean, how many more times are we going to trot these guys out there? Why are they not playing Kerstad and Holiday every single night? Who gives a shit about these goddamn matchups?
I can't stand them. And I'm a matchups guy. Like there's a time and a place for matchups for me. Ramon Laureano coming off the bench, if somebody's just looked real bad, 3 strikeouts, like just not even close to the ball, and you get a tough lefty in there, that's a guy that has a track record in his career that I would feel comfortable with versus a guy who's looked pretty ugly for 3 at-bats. he's earned some playing time, and same with Ramon Urias. But I'll tell you right now, I will throw something through the TV if I ever see Jorge Mateo pinch hit for somebody late in the game just because he's right-handed. Like, I'll lose my shit, and I don't even want to say that, but I will. But it's rough right now.
It is.
And the
And
thing is,
Gary Sanchez like getting at bats at DH, like.
Right. And to Carrie's point, it seems like every single day there's somebody on this lineup that comes out that's on the bench that should not be on the bench.
Right. And I get to an extent because you have God, I'm trying to click out of here. Urias and Westberg both have earned their at-bats right now. Urias is probably our most consistent hitter. So you want to find a way to get him in the lineup. Problem is when you do that, you got to move Westy. And when you move Westy, you got to do something with Jackson. And when you move, somebody else out of the DH, you move O'Hearn out of it. And like, these are all guys that deserve their at-bats. We don't need to worry about bench role players. Like,
no,
those are your guys that have earned their at-bats. They've played well. Don't move around too much to try and appease a 30-year-old journeyman.
And you guys know that I could run through the lineup what it should be here now, with the exception of Urias is hot. And then you use Urias as your plug at third or short or second when you're rotating off days between those guys. That should be the only movement.
Yep.
That should be the only movement.
Agree.
And the other movement could be Ryan O'Hearn at first base and or DH when Mountie needs his day off. Other than that, those two movements, that should be it. That should literally be it.
Let me ask you a question, because you and I were really, really high on Mountcastle this year. I'm almost to the point I feel like Ryan O'Hearn has started to earn taking at bats away from Mountcastle. What do you
absolutely?
Because he just produces. I mean, I love Mountie. I love his defense and stuff. I love what he brings to the game, but it just feels like in that big situation, I just trust O'Hearn more.
You guys both know I'm a big Ryan O'Hearn guy, and there's a reason that his jersey has been the one that I've worn to the last two games that I've been to so far this year. The dude just seems to have I wouldn't call it clutch because not much on this team is clutch right now, but he seems to come through when we need it more. I was really disappointed in Mountcastle with the Toronto series. I figured that would kind of get him going just based off his track record, but I don't necessarily like seeing Ryan O'Hearn in the outfield, but I mean,
but if you got to get him in the lineup, you just like, I'm at that point where I used to complain about that. Now I'm just like, whatever. Like, just get him in the lineup because
he needs to be the DH
to do it.
He's the DH right now. He should be the DH, and you can platoon him at DH and first base with Mountie.
The only bad part is his numbers as a DH are really bad, but when he's in the field, they're really, really good.
I mean,
so is he a guy that just – and look, DHing is hard. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. It is very hard to mentally stay in the game when you're kind of walking around waiting for your next at-bat, rather than, at least you're playing defense, something could happen. You're always in it, but I don't know if he's one of those guys that has to play the field or if it was just a slow start or what, but the numbers just right now.
Put that comment from Joe just now on the screen, and I can answer that for him. Is O'Hearn signed next year and Mountie traded Mayo in that spot? All that's no. Adley or Basayo is going to be at first base next year.
I don't know if they start Basayo right away.
One of them. But
unless
the thing is,
he gets healthy and comes up at some point this year and earns it. But I don't know if they'll start a year with a rookie at first.
You can't. And the only reason why I'm saying no is because you can't keep doing the same shit over and over, expecting a different outcome. That's the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
We can't keep doing the same shit. They can't keep feeding us the same bullshit every single February and March and thinking it's okay.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing the product right now of no depth on the bench. We're seeing the product right now of not having any starting pitching. I understand that we have some injuries, but Tim is famous for this line at the beginning of every baseball season. We are one pitching injury away from disaster. And right now, we're 2 starting injuries deep, and it's the 4th week of the season.
Yep.
And right now we are saying, oh my God, every 5th day, because this geriatric fuck, Charlie Morton, is going out on the mound and getting his teeth kicked in every start.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is like I'm definitely we knew what pitching was going to be going into this, and I'm not taking any away from pitching being the problem. We have the worst ERA in all of baseball. You can't win games.
We have a worse ERA than the Rockies,
Right. You who pitch it
and
however
we're not a
many
mile
miles.
above sea level.
Right.
You know
and
what I find that sucks about that though is the bullpen gets taxed with the ERA from Gary Sanchez and Jorge Mateo. So they went from like the second best ERA to like I think one of the worst now because of position players. If baseball is going to allow position players to pitch, they need to find a way to like get those stats off of pitchers' stats, in my opinion.
and look, I'm not taking anything away from the fact that we all experienced blatant malpractice when it comes to pitching going into the season and who we had ready for this team. But at the same time, you're not going to win a game when the other team scores 20 runs. You're also not going to win a game when your team scores 2 runs.
And that emotionless fuck of a manager that we got, excuse my language, the night before the Charlie Morton start, he says, I need Charlie to go out there and have a good game.
Yeah, that was
and a long game, and our bullpen's taxing. What does he
It was
do?
a cry for help.
2 1/3 with 7 earned runs.
Yeah,
They
that
should
was a
have
straight up cry
DFA'd
for
him
help,
in the
man.
7th inning. I swear to God, Charlie Morton does not need to make another start for the Baltimore Orioles. It's
Yeah.
over. It's done. This
Who else are you going to throw though?
Get Gibson up here. He can't be worse than Morton. He
You sure
can't
about
be.
that?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not. But the thing is, do you really want to? It's almost like a guarantee every 5 days is a L because of him starting for this team.
Unfortunately, right now it's every 3 out of 5 days is an L.
And I'm so upset with myself because in our season prediction show, I picked him to be the best pitcher on the team this year, and
we were all in agreement. We were all in agreement that he'd be serviceable enough.
I put my eggs in the basket of somebody that can get 50-cent silver dollar pancakes at IHOP on Saturday morning.
Brett's comment is ridiculous.
I'll go with him for 50 cents. Yeah, I mean, look, we all three of us, I think, expected big things out of Povich, and that's been less than desirable at the moment. I still think Povich is probably okay. It's just the whole team seems to just kind of be poop right now.
He had a sub-3 ERA before his last start, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I got to stop cussing. My wife texted me. She was watching and she turned it off. I got to stop.
I look, man, I 1,000% agree with you. What I don't like about the offense, and I cried about it last year, and people told me to shut up because they were, scoring some of the most runs in baseball. The problem is they score in bunches. So these games that they'll score 8, 9, 10 runs, and then they come back in 2, that averages out to 5 runs a game, and they look really good on paper in these stat columns and stuff. But it's those games where they only score 2 runs in a bullpen game.
Yep.
That's my problem. You need more consistency.
And
if they would have gotten lost to 24-2 to Hunter Green yesterday, I don't think the blow would have been as bad. But when you faced a bullpen and scored 2 runs,
that was absolutely atrocious.
That's pathetic, to be honest with you.
Yep. And I mean, not to be the bearer of bad news, because that seems to be all of what we're getting right now, but we're heading into Washington, who's a scrappy team, a pretty good rotation. And I mean, what's first game against a soft toss and lefty who the Orioles literally cannot seem to hit.
Are they facing Mackenzie Gore at all?
Not
if they do, you can chalk that up as a loss.
Right. That's what it's. This national series is going to be really rough.
Oh, Chris, they got James Wood bobblehead tomorrow night, and that's going to be a sold-out crowd. That'll be great.
Yep.
That'll be real great.
Mm-hmm. No, Carrie, yes, we are.
So Parker's
I'm pretty sure it's a disaster right now.
Parker is. Trevor Williams and McGore on Thursday. So they could get swept. I mean, that's a reality there.
Especially if you're not hitting the ball. I mean, the only 2 runs we scored in a bullpen game was one Adley dinger, and then Westberg hit the ball decent.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
And this is what bothers me, too, was Westberg's comments today. Did you guys catch his little interview?
I did.
I did not.
That kind of annoyed me.
Hopefully this sparks a fire or whatever. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That if that doesn't light a fire up under your ass, Like, maybe baseball is just not your sport. Look, us three here know that baseball is these guys' sport. It's okay to kind of come out there and really talk your feelings because your manager's doing it right now. I want to hear you. I want to hear you say, like, dude, we're pissed. Like, we just got embarrassed.
Yeah,
And
curse or something. This is blanking
something,
unacceptable.
Yeah. And then don't tell me that hopefully, this gets some. No, dude, I want to hear that you're pissed. And I want to hear the kind of changes that you guys are looking. I want to hear that, okay, maybe we've realized that our approach sucks and our pitch selection right now sucks. And so look, last year, we all kind of complained about it last year where they swung at the first pitch too often. More times than not, and I think it was more in runners in scoring position, they were really pathetic. But when it wasn't runners in scoring position, they were hitting like near 350 on the first pitch. This year, it's like 230. So what
It's
the
bad.
hell changed?
Everything.
It'd be nice
Everything
to hear
everything
him
and
talk
nothing at
like
all.
Matt for a second.
It's the way they built this team, and
Matt will love that one.
I agree with her. I
Yeah.
agree with her. 100%. The way you built this team.
This is a good
there's
point too. This might be a good point. I think they're all a little too friendly with each other.
Because they all came up together.
Yeah.
They all came up together, and that's the problem. All these guys went through everything together at AAA, AA, Single A, Rookie League. All these guys, Westy, Adley,
Yeah.
Gunner,
They're too good
Jackson.
of friends.
But they were all drafted within a couple of years of each other.
Yep.
I saw someone post it, and it made me think a little bit. But they're like the spoiled travel ball team.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Like
They're not used to adversity
at all.
I've seen another one that said, I think I just lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
There's no
Spoiled
adversity
travel
that
ball
fast.
team.
That's what kids will do to you.
They're it's like they're adverse to tough situations.
We don't see it. We saw it in 23, and that's what irritates me the most is in 23 you saw these guys shorten up the bat a little bit, try to put the ball in play and make something happen, where now it's just like, let me just keep hitting the ball hard on the ground and saying that my expected stats look good.
And I'm gonna like not. This isn't an I told you so moment, but this team desperately needed one of these veteran signings. Charlie Morton is a veteran signing. Sugano is a veteran signing. I'm very happy with Sugano so far.
They didn't address the veteranness in the lineup. They went after the pitching staff, which really wasn't that young.
I hear you, but I'll say it like this. I don't care how they're pitching right now. Verlander or Scherzer would have been an ideal add to this team. Somebody like Joe Kelly in the bullpen.
I think he's still available, isn't he?
I'm not sure. I don't know if he got scooped up or not, but you need that attitude.
Let's not forget, one of the only times we saw that attitude last year coming out of the bench onto the field towards a referee and opposing team was Corbin Burns.
Yep.
He was the
100%.
only one that was throwing his hands up and cursing at a ref, getting ready to jump on the field. Who in this clubhouse would do that right now?
Do you remember, was it 23? I think Grayson was mad and would scream into his glove. Was it 23?
Yeah.
We don't even see that anymore. Remember Kyle Gibson did it in 23 too? It was out of excitement, but he showed emotion. Remember CNL Perez used to make a big out and he would turn around and fist pump and scream in the glove and everybody was excited. Now it's just like, oh cool, we got the last out. Let me go hug Adley.
We got the whole
where's
Schuster
the fire?
family in here.
These dudes are we are seeing the product now where we were bad for a very long time. And we got a lot of high draft picks in the early rounds for a number of years straight. And we drafted these kids that have never probably lost in significant ways or faced adversity in significant manners their entire playing career, from little league all the way through high school or college. They've been the best everywhere they've been.
Yep.
And now they're all together as the best where they were separately.
Did
And
they win
now,
Grapefruit League 2 or 3 years?
yeah,
2 in a
something like that.
row, I think.
2 in a row.
So now,
Not this year though.
now you're in the bigs on an every day and night basis, and you're getting your asses whooped, and you don't know how to respond.
Right.
There's
And
nobody.
how many times did Norfolk win the championship?
1 or 2.
I don't like. To me, minor league championships are nothing. It
Right,
just
but
shows
that's
that you
just
got a good. It shows
that's
you
what
got a
I'm
good
saying.
farm.
Yeah,
But
and that's
the
what I'm
thing
saying.
is, all these minor league championships are amounting to what on the major league roster right now? Povich has been getting slammed every time he's gone out there, essentially.
Yep.
All the position players are in a rut. Adley was hot all spring. Oh, this is
Don't even
going to
bring
be
that up.
Adley's year.
Do you remember the anger and the fire that Manny Machado brought to the bench and on the field?
All the time?
That the thing is, that's a different team, and I'm gonna say it to you like this:
Oh, I'm
not just Manny. You had Markakis on that team.
Jones.
You had Adam Jones on that team. You had guys like Delman Young on that team. You had Andrew Miller on that team. You had Britton. You
Trumbo.
you had Trumbo. You had Mancini on those teams. Like, let's be for real. Like, those are dudes cut from a different cloth. They were tough ball players.
Right, but
mentally.
how do you think this locker room would go after that beating yesterday if Manny was on this team and they all had to walk into that clubhouse?
It would have been a Royal Rumble in that motherfucker. But like, let's just be real about it. They
People
wouldn't be
say
able
they
to
hated
handle Manny.
but Manny wouldn't let
This
this
team
shit fly.
this team wouldn't handle Manny Machado very well.
Not at all.
I don't see a problem with that.
With how many suckers that are on this team right now, emotionally and mentally, they couldn't handle Manny's fire.
God, that bothers me. That whole interview from Hyde about how they struggle to let things go and they struggle with failure.
Hyde
bothers me so much.
Hyde admitted that his team is mentally weak.
Soft. He basically called them soft. How do you come back from that as an organization and a team? Your managers called you soft on national television, and now you're supposed to go play for him? Like, how do you come back from that?
You don't.
Now, not defending Hyde here. We all know where I stand.
Don't do it.
I'm not. I'm asking a question. Do you think that have you noticed in his press conferences that he is starting to tiptoe to the point of like, it used to be, it used to be just cover your ass, be a team man, don't say anything, let it move on. Last couple interviews,
he's calling people out.
He's not only getting close to like straight up calling people out, he's also tiptoeing to the point where like, look, man, this is the roster I was given.
Yeah.
Like he's getting to that point.
He's a lame duck manager. He's not getting an extension here.
You guys know I'm a big Mike Elias guy. And I'm sitting here, and do you know the lowest rounded player that he's ever drafted that has made the major league since 2019? Do you want to take a wild guess? Lowest round.
11?
6?
10th. Billy Cook.
Oof.
Billy Cook, 10th round. So
what
most
you're saying
rounds
to
are
me,
what, 20? 20 now? 30? What are they now?
So what you're saying is, with us sucking for so long and him having these draft picks, it's kind of easy to draft the good ones when you're picking high in every single round.
Correct. Now, don't get me wrong. I think some of our recent drafts have been pretty good. I mean, Griffo Farrell is already off to a really good start. Ethan Anderson, O'Verne, those top 4 picks last year look really, really good so far.
But you're talking about guys that won't be to the majors until 29 or 30.
4 or 5 years. Yeah. Maybe Ethan Anderson and O'Verne and O'Farrell could get there a little bit faster just because they were college guys. Well, I guess Honeycutt too, but
I'm going to be brutally honest here, guys. Like, I know baseball is a game of movement, and you have prospects and you have a farm system, and year after year, those guys work their way up and make their way up and play on the team. But I'm sick and tired of hearing, well, we have this guy coming up. and we have this guy coming up, and we have this
Right.
guy coming up.
I'm with
We
you on that.
heard we have these guys coming up
And they
for
ain't
years,
producing.
and they're here right now.
They've been here for a year and a half.
They've been here for 3 years, some of them.
Some of them, but I'm saying the total cavalry is coming has been the last 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
And
the team got worse
we
when they got
we
here.
are 0-7 in the playoffs to show for that.
Yep. They got worse when they all got here. I hate to even say that because I feel like they're good people. They're good players. They're just not playing like good players right now.
They're not. And the thing is, I agree with what Brett just said in the comments. A lot. Hyde is going to be the sacrificial lamb.
Oh,
But-
for sure.
But
Every
at what
manager is.
but at what point do you hold Mike Elias accountable? What we're
I'm
hearing,
starting to get to that point right now.
they're talking out of both sides of their mouth right now when it comes to off-season spending. Oh, Rubenstein saying he can spend whatever he wants. Why is Max Fried not an Oriole? Why is Blake Snell not an Oriole? Why did they only go 4 years allegedly on Corbin Burns if you wanted to keep him? What is in your mind if you have an open checkbook from your billionaire owner? Why are you signing journeyman on like the D, E, and F level tiers?
So
Because,
I
Matt-
had a conversation with full count chaos about this last night. So Bradish and Wells and Grayson are all under contract for 28, 29, 30. So that right there is 3 spots in your rotation. And then you have Cade Povich, who's under control, I think, till 2031. So that's 4 spots. Dean, I think, is still under control to 28. So there's all 5 of your spots. Now, if you go and acquire one of these guys, okay, now you got 6 spots. And now all of a sudden, we'll say like Brandon Young really pops. Well, there's your 7th spot. You don't have room for him. And then all of a sudden, Zach Fruit pops. Well, now there's your 8th spot. You don't have room for him. That's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that, but I feel like Mike takes it to a point where he's trying to leave the door open for some of the guys that he drafted, and he's giving out these 1-year deals because he still has to deal with the guys that are here for a while still trying to appease the guys, without having to trade them away. Because let's be honest, if he had to trade away like Brandon Young and Zach Fruit because they didn't have room for him, what can you get for him? Because you've really only showcased them at AAA. That's where the problem lies. Not that I necessarily agree with that approach. I just feel like that's the approach that he's taking. And I could be completely wrong. It's just how I feel. Like he's just trying to leave that door open for his guys.
It all comes into his value assessment. It comes into what Sigmadell sees on the computers and in the petri dish under the microscope. They work it out through all their different programs, print it out on a ticket, and that's what they go with. And there's no deetering from that. It's might as well be set in stone, chiseled with a freaking
And
pickaxe.
and here's the thing. I'm gonna Joe. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with what you just said about Snell and Max. If you pay them what they're worth, they would have came here. One of them. If you would have said, if you would have given them slightly above what they were offered in New York and or San Francisco, they'd be an Oriole. At the end of the day, money talks. Burns
maybe like how much more would you have to pay? Like Snell had the offer on the table for the Dodgers, right? And Dodgers are on paper are favorites to win World Series. Like how much more would you have to pay him to pry him away from a chance at a ring?
Obviously, the Giants did it.
Probably $30 million, right? No,
Yeah.
Snell's with LA.
Yeah, that's right. He's. But what I'm saying is,
me personally, like this is just me. If I was good enough to pitch in the big leagues and the Dodgers offered me money and it was good money, man, you better come in there with something hot to beat that.
Exactly.
But I'm not losing a ring.
You can't as the owner of the team, essentially have an open checkbook because you got billions of dollars, and then you tell your general manager to go get somebody, and we're waking up to Sugano, Morton, Gibson, Tyler O'Neill, Gary Sanchez, Laureano. this screams mediocrity.
This is a good point.
I've
tell
been
you right
saying,
now,
why should they?
If I'm Jackson Holiday, I don't even take your phone call right now
Right.
because I'm a platoon player with Jorge Mateo.
Right. They don't even know what position they play.
Right.
Right. Do you think Gunnar is gonna look favorably at this? Like our window was the last 2 years and the next 2 years. This was a realistic 4-year window to win at least a World Series or get to one.
Mm-hmm.
You're proving to all these kids that you're gonna stay with Hyde, you're gonna stay with this system, and that they have to fit into it and just fall in line. There's been no deviation from the course.
There's no system to even fit into. There's
Right, but
no consistency with anything.
I'm the honeymoon with Elias is over.
This is a big
The
year. Look,
it's a big
I
year.
give him a lot of credit because losing the 2020 season and only having 5 rounds in that draft, which he really hit on that draft. I mean, he got Kobe Mayo, what, the 4th or 5th round? Like that's a good draft. But then not having that season to even develop some of these guys, that hurts. So I gave him a 1-year pass. But I feel like right at this moment, like, dude, you're on that plank, like right now. Because you had your pass. 2020 was 5 years ago now. It's time to get walking, bud.
And let me ask you guys something. With Rubenstein, how do you think that there's a short leash there? And the reason I say that is because he came in. It took him, the first half of the season where he came in to get his bearings, right? He has to establish his team. He has to get his group of, his brains around him, his people around him that are not directly, in player-to-player actions, personnel, team, stuff like that. His team, his ownership group, right? They listened to the fans. They started with improvements, temporary fix of the speaker system, value menu to drop prices.
We freeze? Guys, I think we froze. I don't know what's going on. Somebody froze. I don't know where we were leaving off. Oh. Awesome. We're expecting a little bit of a technical difficulty. I'm still on. I don't know what's going on with those guys. Because I didn't even hear what Tim was talking about before he cut out. Gotta love live streaming. Hopefully they get their situations fixed. Welcome to the Match Figures Show. Thanks, Joe. Elias hijacked the stream. That's incredibly accurate. Yeah, I don't know what's going to go on with Rubenstein and Elias. It's really difficult, to say the least, to figure out what these guys are going to do, because who knows how much of a leash Elias has at this point. Joe, me personally with Elias, like I said before they cut out, the honeymoon's over. At what point are we going to hold him accountable, and how many more lackluster off seasons are we really going to have before these guys make another change? At what point? I mean, we can't keep on expecting this type of situation with these players on this team. You got to have a hardened manager. You got to have a tough GM that'll make some difficult calls. You can't keep on hoarding prospects in all these situations where you could flip some of them for legitimate players. We should have had Bregman. We should have had Snell or Freed or somebody, but they fell into the trap of overvaluing their own players and their own team. And now we're seeing everything come into fruition. And Rubenstein's, he's not really a baseball guy, so he's gonna let his baseball guys do baseball things. You know, with what Kim just said, Mike's convinced Elias that he knows more than he does, and it's enabling because Elias runs this entire organization. So yeah, that's personally where I'm at with it. Um, Kim, that's a great point. I think that Elias thinks that he's the big dog in him and Sid, and nobody's going to challenge him. And to what Steve just said, Steve, we're not going to make the playoffs playing like this. If we win 80 games this year, it's a miracle. How do you make that happen? This team is losing series left and right. Simple. I mean, Mayo's hitting in AAA again, but we've seen that same song and dance for the better part of 18 months now. The last 2 seasons, Mayo can hit in the league. Doesn't matter. I mean, he can hit in the minor leagues. He can't hit in the majors. We know he can't hit in the majors. The kid got sent down the night after his first hit last year. So that's where we are. Kim, you're right. Again, the conspiracy theory is that Elias is convinced, that he doesn't need to convince Rubenstein that he doesn't need to spend millions to win. You do. And it's just one of those situations where um Elias is the smartest guy in the room when it comes to baseball, and this is the end result. We're watching guys that shouldn't be pitching in the major leagues starting, and we got a manager that doesn't know how to put a consistent lineup together for more than 2 nights. It's absolutely atrocious. I don't get it. Now you guys can keep on trying to get back in. I'm good. I'm on my soapbox right now. You guys can't cut me off. You know what's funny? The only dude on this 3-man show that isn't a tech nerd is the one that's still going. There's even more pitching available after the year. Might not be as much as top line, but there's bodies. You got 3 years of Gunner after this. Adley has to see. The thing is, I don't know if Adley has to go necessarily. Um, I just think he needs to decide whether he's going to be a first baseman or uh, a DH, because besides creeping up on his heels as a catcher, and I think he's probably going to be the better catcher when they both are major league at the major leagues together at the same time. 2027 this is a team friendly deal. We've had the same lineup 3 times this year, 5, 6, and 9, and 1 all 3. That's true, Drew. We have. Um, you know, uh, Hyde thinks he's the smartest man in the room. So what can we do about it? There's nothing you can do about it because Hyde is going to do what Hyde wants to do 24/7, regardless of what anybody thinks or feels. Yeah, this is funny. This you can't make this stuff up, man. There's no excuse for what's going on right now. And Elias is a total narcissist. Chip, you are right. He gives narcissist vibes just by simply how the way he runs his team. He's always the smartest guy in the room, no matter what the room is in, no matter what room he's in. Um, he's not going to listen to anyone because there's nobody to listen to. There's nobody in the organization that's above him that are going to listen to him. So that's just that's me personally. I gotta leave to make them guys come back on. I'll see. Oh, hold on. There he is.
That was weird. I had to reboot.
Well, where's Tim?
Texted him now. If
I've been carrying this show tonight. I just want you to know.
good.
Yeah.
The only problem is you couldn't put any chats on the screen.
I'm reading it. I don't know how to read.
No, I meant like put them on so other people could read it. Oh man, sorry about that, fellas.
And ladies, we have some ladies on the
Ladies
chat
too,
too.
yeah. I like this comment.
Yeah, I was reading that before you popped back in.
Yeah, my bad. I'm a little late.
Do we have the whole Schuessler family in the chat tonight?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I liked what you were saying though about his leash, Matt. I feel like the problem is David made it very clear that he is not a baseball guy, and he's gonna just default to Mike, which makes me feel like that he's gonna keep him around for at least 2 more years.
The guy that bought the Magna Carta is not a baseball guy. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
the guy who used to be the president of the Kennedy Center.
Didn't
He's not a
Donnie
baseball
fire
guy.
him?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's wild.
He's making $1.9 million a year. He's making a lot of money.
I will take the 0.9 for the rest of my life.
Yeah, me too.
I can retire on $900,000.
Yeah, but it's
I eat like a child anyway. Food's not that expensive for me.
do we? I asked this the other day. If the Orioles are at or maybe slightly below 500 at the break, do you make a move now to make a run, knowing that you
Yes.
might get some guys back?
Th-
Or do you make a move to strengthen your rotation in 2026, like with a controllable guy? Like Sandy is controllable, I think, through 2028. I want to get him regardless, even though every other team in baseball is going to try and get him. I have a bad feeling he's going to go to the Padres, but they should do what it takes.
They should.
I don't
But
know
they
if
won't.
they're going to.
Because Mike Elias thinks that Kyle Gibson's going to save this rotation.
No. The only thing Kyle Gibson is going to save is the Dong Bong and maybe a 4.5 ERA. He can get you through 6.
Joe,
More
childhood
times than not.
obesity turned into adult obesity. I'm way ahead of you, boss.
What's that?
He's talking about childhood obesity.
Oh,
Bro, I've been eating gummies this entire show. Like, come on now.
it sounds so vulgar. I would move Mayo, I feel like.
That second sentence escalated that very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah. I would move Mayo, I feel like, for the right package.
But Mayo alone isn't going to get it done because everybody that saw him at the major league level knows what he is.
I don't think so. An advanced scout is not going to put almost zero stock into that whatsoever. Now, if he was at 100 at bats and performing like that, then yeah, his stock would have took a hit. But 20, 25, 30 at bats, they don't care. Because it usually takes a big leaguer between 100 to 150 at bats to really see who they are. Like we're just now seeing what Kerstad really is because he's just career-wise getting to that 150 at bat part. But his problem is he keeps getting hurt.
Here's my problem with that, Zach. They're not putting any stock into his 25 major league at bats, but they're also looking at how bad this Baltimore Orioles team is from top to bottom in the lineup hitting right now, and Mayo is still in AAA.
Well, that's defensive issues. That's why. Like you're not going to take a bats away or defensive reps from Westberg or Urias.
But none of them are hitting right now.
Right. Well, Urias is.
Hey, try sending Tim the link
I'm going to
again.
email it to him again. Let me see if this actually works. If he can, because he has Apple, he might be able to get through here. But if not, I'm going to mail it to him too. It just says connecting. Okay.
I mean, it's glaring that we can't hit the ball, and you gotta one of your top prospects hitting AAA like a monster still again for the second year in a row, and he's not up on the major league roster. Why?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about defense, but who gives a shit about defense when you can't score?
Well, you don't want to give anything away either.
They're not going to send Mateo packing because they love him for some reason.
I think Gunner's till 2029. Let me double check. I think Gunner. We got a couple more years of Gunner.
The Manny Machado trade gives me
Sucked.
PTSD
Yeah,
because the only thing we have to show for Manny Machado
2029. Yeah.
right now is Dean Kramer, a number 4 pitcher.
Correct.
Who's
But
now
I was pretty
number
high
2
on
by
Rylan Bannon, and that didn't pan out. That sucked. I was high on him. That dude had a lot of power. A lot of power. He had
he couldn't get past AA.
Yeah, he made it. He got called up, and I think he hit 1 home run for us. I think, but he had Mayo type power and actually better defense than Mayo, and I'm pretty sure he's out of baseball.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure, like after we let him know, is he still playing with the Mets? No, he's a free agent. Okay. He's only 29 years old, free agent, and he was a headliner of the Machado trade.
Yep. But Dustin May's medicals didn't check out. And Dustin May's one of the best pitchers on the Dodgers.
He was with the Twins last year in AAA, hitting 165. That's pretty rough. But he was with the Mets too in AAA, hit 250. It's respectable. Yeah, he was 2 for 14 in Baltimore with 5 Ks. So he made it to the big leagues, but just didn't do anything. You know what's really funny, Drew, is I really, and they wouldn't trade him. I really wanted Alex Verdugo. And now look at it. And look, Doogie probably would have gave us a couple good years, at least hitting wise. But I don't know. Tim's not having a good time over here.
Yeah, he's having trouble getting connectivity.
Don't try Chrome. I would have loved Walker Buehler. I don't think, was he hurt then?
Yeah. That's why Walker wasn't part of.
He was always hurt.
Yeah. But Dustin May's medicals didn't check out. So he's
always hurt too. And he's doing good right now, but he's literally always hurt. He was like Walker. Just couldn't keep any of those guys healthy in LA. That's why they have to go out and sign everybody. Yeah. What are your thoughts? Let me ask you this. I was listening to Scherzer's live the other day, and he was saying Toronto's going to try something new this year where they're going to have all of their minor league guys throw more than they ever have because they feel like everybody tries to limit these innings, and then they get to the big leagues and they get hurt. And he was saying Toronto is going to try and flip-flop that. And they were apparently, from what I heard, the first team in the 80s to do this too, where now they want guys that are throwing 100, 120 pitches a start, single A, double A, triple A. So when they get to the big leagues, they're ready to roll at 90 pitches. You think more teams need to adopt this, or you think most teams are going to kind of sit back and watch what happens over the next year or two?
Now, I think that's going to be a sit back and watch approach, but I think more teams are going to end up doing it if it shows any modicum of success. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that is going to bother me is that with the game being in the state it's in today, and Bordy said it when he was on here before the year started, everybody's so worried about spin rate and velocity that they've forgotten how to pitch.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Greg Maddux didn't give a shit about spin rate. The dude threw 92 miles an hour, but he was money on pinpoint precision, and he was a bulldog pitcher.
Yep.
You know, they're making everything so analytically driven and precise.
Not everybody.
And we're
just us.
yeah, but we're seeing. But the thing is, some of these injuries, you're now seeing the direct result of it.
Yeah.
You know, Grayson Rodriguez has been hurt every year he's been in the major leagues with the Baltimore Orioles.
Mm-hmm.
Every year. And it's always the same injury to the same areas of his body.
Yep.
Because you need a 6'6" lanky dude to throw 98 miles an hour. You want him to hulse it in there every single time. It's going to ruin everything.
Yep.
It's going to ruin the makeup of this team to focus on this type of stuff. Go get pitchers and stop looking for throwers thinking they're pitchers. The
What's up,
art of it's
Birdwatcher?
gone.
If you guys like play-by-play on YouTube of every game, like if you're out and about and you don't have a chance to watch a cable, always check out Birdwatcher on YouTube. He literally play-by-play every game, and he's a fun guy to watch. Kind of keeps it light over there. But I agree with you, Matt. It's I don't know, man.
Because I'm gonna tell it to you like this. We're not going to see Grayson this year because of what's going on. Would you want to get back out there knowing this team is falling apart at the seams in April already?
I'm
mean,
pretty sure that's why he didn't come back last year.
Exactly. You know, I don't. How do you pitch that to him?
Right.
How do you can't. There's no way you can pitch it to him.
Yeah.
These guys, I think most of these guys have probably checked out mentally from Hyde.
How do you come back from that? Like we talked about it. You get rid of him, but like
You
if
tear
you're
it
already
down.
checked out, do you think it's just as simple as just flipping the switch and going again?
I think you need to do it. If you're not going to do it before the All-Star break, you need to pull the plug on it and use that week as a reboot for mid-year and get somebody in there, and then everybody's going to want to go home for that All-Star break. That's where you tell these guys, don't pack your bags. We got some work to do.
Yeah.
And that's what they got to do.
Do you think Ron Washington, have you heard about his policy with no cell phones in the locker for the Angels?
It's got to be working. The Angels are balling this year.
Do you think we should implement something like that?
You're telling a bunch of 20-somethings that they aren't going to be able to have their cell phones in the locker room?
I mean, you're telling Mike Trout, who's a future Hall of Famer, like, hey, bud, I don't want you to have your phone in the locker room.
Mike Trout is one of one.
Right. But, I mean, look, they still have Joe Adell. Joe's young. Jose Soriano is pretty young. They got a fairly young team out there. I mean, they're in the middle of a rebuild.
They're in the middle of a rebuild.
Look,
but
they're responding. How old is Ron Washington? In his 70s, right?
Yeah.
They're responding to a 70-year-old who makes this like off the wall claim of no electronics in the locker room before game time.
You're there to work.
And they're responding to it. And then we have a manager that's just like, our guys are really struggling to deal with failure. And it happened a lot last year. Like, hello? Like, one, that's kind of your job. And two, why has a sports psychologist not been brought in yet? If that's really the case, why has a sports psychologist not been brought in yet to ask these guys, what the hell is going on and how do you fix it?
Who knows? Nobody has the answer to that.
We talked about this. Guys just not showing anything.
The vibes have been off since last June.
What happened?
We have a 40% winning percentage from the All-Star break last year.
What happened? Like, I'm starting to agree with you. I do think they're checking out. But at some point,
it's obvious.
It is obvious, but at some point, they always say, some people don't like hearing this, but it's very true. And I heard it when I played. You play for the name on the back more than the name on the front. And at some point, wouldn't you take a little bit of pride for yourself to just have competitive at bats, even if the game's out of hand. And yes, I'm speaking a lot towards yesterday, but those were not competitive at bats
They
at
weren't.
all. Like they had no pride. These are your numbers. They go on the back of your baseball card. Why wouldn't you give a little bit more of a shit? Cool, yeah, you're down 24 runs. You know what? Sometimes you get your teeth kicked in. But you know what you could have did? You could have made it a little bit more respectable on offense. Just a little. 24-8 maybe. You know, made a little bit of a run, kind of got the crowd a little excited a little bit. No. Yeah,
They
we had to wait
don't.
for a solo home run in the 8th inning.
They don't know how to respond to
They
adversity.
don't. Where did they lose it though? That's my question. Is they had it in 23.
And then
Was Adam Frazier that big of a deal? I
it
don't think
wasn't.
so.
It wasn't just Adam Frazier. It was Adam Frazier. It was Rougned Odor,
Gibson.
Kyle Gibson, and
Who else did
all.
they have back then? I don't even remember.
You know, they had all these, you know, veterans sprinkled throughout the roster, and you took it away. And you know, you traded for Corbin Burns. You go out there on 2024 opening day, you score 11 runs for him. He has 13 strikeouts or something like that. You know, it's and then everything started to fall apart, and Brandon Hyde couldn't get these guys right. And the longer this play goes on in this season, Zach, the more and more I buy into the dissension in the locker room last year. The rumors and the reports seem
I'm
more
starting
and
to buy
more.
into it too, man.
I bought into it in the offseason.
I know.
We've won 193 games in 23 and 24.
Isn't that
And we went
crazy?
and we won
Isn't it
0 and
crazy to even
7.
hear?
Yeah, and we won 0 and 7 in the playoffs.
Yeah. It's crazy to hear that and
We're-
then look at this team in the situation that they're in right now. It's just it
A
boggles
team-
my mind.
A team with Jackson Holliday, Jordan Westberg, Gunnar Henderson, and Adley Rutschman.
Do you know what they're hitting combined this year? 211.
Right. They're not even hitting their body weight.
Nugget
So
Chef.
you
I don't
have
know if
those
you follow
four.
him on Twitter.
You have those four, and this team is
Hicks.
on pace for 68 wins.
Good call, Joe. Hicks.
Aaron Hicks.
Hmm? Yeah.
They've won one series so far. This is dire straits right here.
It
Are
is.
you realistically gonna allow this team to play this way into the first part of June and then start panicking?
I
at
think
this
they're
point-
okay with that.
At this point, it's going to take Jordan Westberg to get Alcantara.
Yeah. And look,
And-
here's the worst part is now teams know you're desperate. Now they know you're desperate because now Grayson potentially might not pitch this year. Okay, well, now your price just went up a little bit more because now you really need him.
It's safe to say that if Brandon Hyde is the manager of this team for this year and beyond, Grayson Rodriguez might not throw another pitch for us.
This is a good point, Chip. I like that because a lot of our guys just throw it in there. They just pray to God that they don't hit it. They just throw it all up in there. And look, Batista falls in this too. I'm not going to give him a little bit of a pass. I don't 1,000% think that he's fully ready. But would he gain anything being on a rehab assignment right now? Probably not.
They should have put
You
him
and I
on.
talked about it before, Matt. They needed a second guy.
Yeah,
Just in case.
yeah.
And look, Baker has pitched out of his mind. And I think we're all grateful for that. Is he a second guy? No, I think he's a very nice compliment right now. Cano is still just a compliment kind of guy. There was no reason not to go and get Kirby Yates or Kendall Graveman or even still Dave Robertson or someone else that could just take a little load off of Felix, just a little, just till he gets himself right. And they missed the ball there too, in my opinion.
It's this is disappointing because I'm starting to feel like we were sold up the river for a dream. And for the better part of the last dozen years, this baseball team has had the same on-field philosophy with different players and mentalities. We have lived and died by the long ball since
Mhm.
2012.
And you know what got worse? Defense.
Yeah.
Even when we sucked, they were still like a top 5 defensive team in baseball.
Yeah.
Even when they sucked. Cesar Torres and stuff.
Mark Reynolds.
Who was the other one? Who's still playing? God, he was doing good last year with the Mets. Jose Iglesias.
Yeah.
They just made the plays, and now it's like we see this shit drop in between two guys, and we see O'Neill kind of pull up in right field a little bit and let a ball fall, and then oh god, I could just go on and on. I don't want to go on and on, but it's like the defense is kind of taking a back seat to where it used to be one of the most important things around here. That was something that Buck really hammered in, and it's like, dude, you can lose a game because you allowed a base runner on and the next pitch goes for a home run rather than being out of the inning because you just did something right. Or you kept the guy off second, you cut that ball off a little bit quicker. It's the little things. And when it's all compounding like it is right now, the little things matter.
Everything
And
matters right now. The little things and the big things. So
God,
they're not
everything
doing it.
matters, doesn't it?
They're not doing anything right.
They're not doing anything right. You hit that on the head right there. They're not doing anything right.
I never played a day of baseball past 8th grade, but I pay attention enough, and it's like you guys, the fundamentals aren't there. They're lazy, they're uninspired. They're going out there and going through the motions every single night. That's 162 games is a lot of games to do that, and
Yeah.
it's we're 30, not even 30 games in yet.
Yeah.
And you're in this funk and in this mode. What are we doing? Why are we doing this? What?
What was it 2023 when Henderson made that fantastic play in left field in Arizona and threw out Corbin Carroll at the plate? I'm pretty sure that was 2023, right?
Yeah.
We haven't seen a play even remotely close to that since. I mean, yeah, O'Neill threw a guy out the other day, sure. Yeah, I get that part. But have we and then Cedric's catch last year was against the Twins, like in the, that sprawled out, laid out catch. That was pretty cool. Has there been a defensive play this year? And if I'm wrong, I apologize. Now I don't remember. Has there been a play this year that we've been holy shit on?
No.
Like, no, I don't think
I
so.
haven't really watched a game and I've said holy shit a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like I went to the home opener. Okay, we won. No home runs were hit that game, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But something just felt off. And I said it after the game.
Yeah.
These guys, I put so much into who leads this ball club. The man sitting on the bench that's making these decisions, not just in game. He is the one that is in charge of the day-to-day schedule, the preparation, the film room, the BPs, the position drills, everything. And it just seems like nothing is changing. So wouldn't somebody that's leading this team try to start mixing things up to get these guys on a roll? I would rather us lose every series knowing that he kept the same starting 9 in the lineup consistent at least 2 out of 3 of those games in terms of batting order and position.
I agree because
The
at
the
least
an
then you know who you got.
the analytics are killing me. The analytics are absolutely killing this team right now. Because you wanna make everything so damn technical and analytical when somebody on that bench just has to have a baseball eye and
Right.
just say, "Screw all this. What are we not why are we not doing X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
Why is Gunnar Henderson not leading off? Why is Jordan Westberg not hitting in the 2-hole? Why is Cedric Mullins bouncing between 5 and 9 and 1
And 8.
every couple of days? Why is
I'd
Jackson
leave
Holiday
Letty Seti in the leadoff. Just leave him there.
and live and die by it?
Yeah.
He's the only one that's hitting this year.
And I don't care if it's against left-handers. I really don't. Leave him there.
We have, it's like we got a bunch of robots that are looking at numbers and they're looking at a computer screen and they're letting it dictate on-field performance. Who gives a shit about these matchups and putting 8 right-handed at bats in against a lefty? Who, like, let these players go out there and play. You're paying Tyler O'Neill $17 million. Let him go out there and play every night. There's no reason that Gary Sanchez, Jorge Mateo, and Laureano are getting consistent at bats during the week. Those should be your Sunday afternoon 1:30 guys.
I could see Laureano getting a little bit more just because he plays outfield.
Recency bias.
Three.
That's
you just don't want to
recency
have
bias.
3 left-handed hitting outfielders all the time. When Cowser comes back.
Yeah.
When Cowser comes back, if he's fully healthy, I think there might be a slight roster crunch there for it. I don't know 100%.
But when is Cowser coming back? You're
We haven't
talking
heard
that we're
anything.
and
heard
that's
anything.
That's worrisome. So
we haven't even heard anything on Trevor Rogers yet or McDermott at all. He did get cut off when
yeah.
We've been trying to get Tim in the entire time, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, just
he's been trying everything.
He's like having a full-blown panic attack in the group chat right now. And I'm not trying to like call him out or anything, but Buddy is over there he's sweating. And you know how gingers get when they sweat. So
gingers. I just don't. I think they just suck versus left-handed pitching, and I don't even know why. It's gotten consistently worse for the last 3 years, and they put a lot of money into getting it better this year, and it ain't doing nothing.
And all this circles back to the skipper, because at the end of the day, the lineup is his call, unless it's not. If Elias,
Mike Elias, it is. According to Mike Elias, he says that he has no input on the lineup in his press conference.
I don't believe a word any of them say when Brandon Hyde sits in front of a microphone, he lies. When Mike Elias sits in front of a microphone, he lies. It's almost like when
he definitely talks around the bush.
It's almost like when the guys at 105.7 The Fan call the Ravens State of the Union the liars luncheon. Like, I don't when somebody from a Baltimore sports team talks into a microphone in front of a camera, 95% of it is untrue.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, I'm biased towards Eric DeCosta because I got to interview him a couple months ago. And I love Eric DeCosta. But I know that Eric DeCosta says a whole lot without saying anything at all, just like John Harbaugh, Mike Elias, and Brandon Hyde.
He learned that from Steve. Steve was real good at doing that.
Yeah. They all got this coach speak playbook, this company line playbook. But
and they're media trained too.
They are. You don't take the job without it.
Yeah.
He's lying about not having input in the lineup because he's the analytics guy.
Right.
And these lineups are analytically driven. Why was Adley Rutschman leading off earlier this week?
The hell if I know. And that was another thing that I didn't understand is, and this is why I want Seti in the top half of the lineup. Our leadoff hitters, not leadoff. Our 1, 2, and 3 hitters were hitting .214 on the season with 14 RBIs, ranked dead last in RBIs, and I think it was 26th in average. Yeah. You can't win games if the top 3 guys in your lineup are not hitting the ball correctly. Now, look, Tommy Joseph came out and talked about all these expected stats with Adley and how he's just having bad luck. And cool, that's great. Adley has hit some balls hard. Gunner's hit some balls hard. They've been on the ground. They're not helping the team win. So what's the problem of just maybe just dropping them down a little bit? Just take a little bit of pressure off. I don't get it. Adley
It-
is a career 240 hitter in the 2-hole. He's a career 319 hitter in the 5-hole. You don't have to hit him in the 2-hole. You know who's probably a pretty damn good 2-hole hitter?
Westy.
Westy. But you know who else? Urias. You know who else is probably a really good 2-hole hitter? Takes away your 3-hole, but that's what Gunner's for. Ryan O'Hearn. What does he do? He battles. He works counts. He hits the ball the other way when it's pitched there. He can drive it out of the ballpark. With 2 strikes, it doesn't matter. He's not overmatched ever. He sticks his nose in there and grinds it out. That's what you want out of a 2-hole hitter. Not a guy who falls to his knee on a slider and pops it up. Look, I'm being awfully critical. And look, we've both behaved really, really good tonight on Adley.
Yeah.
But
But
I still think Adley's a good player. I just don't see a problem just moving him down 3 spots. He's still right in the middle of the lineup.
I called this though.
Yeah, I just
Adley
don't understand
always
it.
starts hot.
You want to sit here and switch literally everything, but you don't look at the top 3 guys in your lineup really struggling and decide to maybe change that up just a little bit.
Why is Heston cursed at not hitting in the 2 or the 3-hole?
He should be hitting 3-hole every night. I'm sorry.
Why
He's shown me enough. If you don't want to hit Gunner in the 3-hole, which you probably should, if you don't, Heston deserves it. He's shown me enough, righty or lefty. And God, what is he, 27? Turning 27? He's a mature guy. You know, put him in there. Wait till he's hitting the 180 or something.
The one
like that.
thing
Then
I'm
make a
so
move.
happy about, is that I was completely wrong about Cedric Mullins this year.
Dude's on fire.
He's on fire.
On fire.
And now they're talking about on the radio waves whether he should get an extension or not. Mullins is not re-signing here. It's going to be a
not if he's
mutual
hitting like that. No, because you know
He-
who's really thin in center field? I don't even want to say it. But
The
you know who's
Yankees.
thin? No. Fucking Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
Pages sucks. Sucks. Could you imagine if you inserted Cedric Mullins in their lineup
He hits
to shore up
270.
their outfield defense? Because Pages is probably the worst outfielder in all of baseball. Cedric Mullins to the Dodgers. Why would he want to stay here? Why would he want to?
It upsets me that we're talking about this team the way that we are, because we sat through 2016, 17, 18, 19, and COVID. Oh my God. He's here. He is risen. Nobody got the Easter joke?
I did. I was going to make a Pope joke, and then I was like, no.
Can you see the sweat on his face right now?
can.
He is pissed.
Tim, you were glowing, brother.
Is pissed.
He was ready to switch to Windows after this.
Hold on. I'm fucking still trying. Okay. Are we here?
Oh, you didn't hear any of those jokes? God damn it, Tim.
No.
Buddy, you were like glistening.
Yeah, you're glistening. You're a little heated.
Yes.
Those bobbleheads behind you are they're still bobbling because you're banging on the desk so much.
Very angry right now.
You're about to switch to Windows, weren't you?
I was.
About to walk over to Best Buy. Are they still open? No, they just closed. Yeah.
All right. Well, before I was cut off.
What is Discord?
Bro, you broke the damn internet. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That was the
broke
craziest
my
thing.
internet.
What's Discord?
You don't know what Discord is?
Matt, you would enjoy some of the conversations in here.
Discord would be dangerous for Matt.
It's with Joe and like British Raven, Nick Mason. You would have a good time in there.
All right.
We've only invited you guys like 73 times and you just haven't joined yet. You too, Tim.
Is it free?
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
It's a chat service.
All right, I'll join.
All right, I'll join.
You pulled my leg.
What I was saying though, you might have discussed it because I put it in the chat, is new ownership, right? Comes in, says we're going to make renovations to the stadium, starts that. Says we're going to increase the fan experience, does that. Says we're going to work on some family, options for food concessions, whatever, does that. 6 months ago, said he played a influential part in the Masson deal. Today we get a direct to consumer idea or app, whatever you want to call it. He's making moves on his side of the court, not on necessarily the player and personnel side of the court. Do you
Because, go ahead. I'm
do,
sorry.
do you think that there could potentially be a short leash when it comes to Elias and Hyde that we don't know about? And he's just getting his marbles in a basket because he's already openly said he's old. He wants to win now.
I think there's a
So,
shorter leash on Hyde than Elias. I agree with one of the comments from earlier.
who
that-
really likes full control over everything in life?
The people we married.
God damn it, Matt.
I said it.
Cal Ripken.
Mhm.
You don't think that Cal would be like, I'll be a GM? You know how many people he knows? You know how many people respect him?
Hit what his name pools for players to come play here?
I don't know. I think it's a different era.
I
don't
forget
think that
we're old.
matters anymore.
Yeah, this
But-
isn't like we're talking about this in 2014, where he
mean-
can step into a room and, oh, you're the immortal Cal Ripken. I
But I
watched
don't
you
think
play
Cal's
when I
out
was.
of touch.
I'm not saying he's out of touch.
No, I'm just saying, like, if Cal called somebody and was like, "Hey, we want you to come play for Baltimore. Here's a 4-year deal," and they're like, "I want 5." I think Cal's been around the game long enough where he's just like, "David, we got to go 5." He may suck in year 5. The Yankees want him. We got to go 5. I don't think Elias has that in him. I think Elias looks at his paperwork. And I don't even want to say his paperwork is wrong because it's probably right. The guys are probably going to suck in year 5. And we'll all
nerd
get pissed
shit.
off as fans about it. You know what? But that's the
Nerd shit.
difference in the Yankees and Boston signing him and LA signing him and us because they don't care.
Nope.
And I will say they have the luxury of being more established where they can just kind of throw those deals out there and it doesn't matter to them because they know they're going to make their income anyway. Our income is on the rise, but can we really look out 3 years from now and just like, we'll give that 6th year because we'll make that 45 million up. No big deal to us. Can we really say that?
Here's my thing. After the way last year ended, and the way the all season went, I've put no faith into what is going on right now for the foreseeable future. And I tried to be as optimistic as I possibly could, but the fact that Francona came in here and put up 24 on us on a Easter Sunday afternoon game.
After not scoring more than 1 run of 7 to 8 games this year?
Yeah. So to me, the manager that should be getting this shit together was sitting in the Cincinnati dugout. And in all honesty, this coming off season is the last off season I give Mike Elias the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Because
think it
now
has to
I
be.
don't even think we get to that point. If you suck at the trade deadline again, like this place is going to riot.
who are we going to trade
I don't know.
right now? I'm not talking about
We've got some guys with value.
who
Fabian, Beavers,
are you,
Mayo.
Zach.
They have value.
But will any combination of them get us Alcantara?
I think Mayo and Bradfield and maybe McDermott. Sure. Yeah. Probably.
So you're talking about the center fielder for when Seti leaves.
Okay. Then throw in Honeycutt.
Either way, like, okay. Now the problem becomes if you do that for
I'm going
Alcantara,
to tell you right now. And the only reason why I don't care which one of those you get rid of, Austin O'Verne is going to be the guy.
that's 2029.
Maybe. He's a college guy. He's in Aberdeen right now.
I'll be 40 years old by the time he gets here.
Vern should be here in 2 years. Hopefully.
But I say all that to say, is Alcantara gonna make this team better?
Garrett Crochet wouldn't have not made this team better right now. Right
Because
now.
it speaks volumes to me that you offered Corbin Burns $45 million a year, allegedly, and he went home, which is okay if you want to go home. He got the opt out for a year too. There's a whole bunch of semantics. Corbin Burns, the whole last 6 weeks of the season last year, looked like he couldn't wait to get the fuck out of here.
And he still pitched good.
Right. But you could see it on his face, in the dugout, the body language.
Yep.
He ran away from a child's place to go play with some professional guys. There's a culture problem in the Baltimore Orioles locker room. And
Very
I'm
well.
and I'm I don't know how many times I've said it. The over under on 20 being fire Hyde, but that's how you at least wake these guys up. You give Hyde his walking papers in the next month.
Mhm.
If I had it my way, he'd have never been the manager this year. But if you play another month where you lose 3 out of the next 5 series,
Yeah.
fire him. Let Buck Britton do it. Tell Adam Jones to put his uniform back on. Who gives a shit at this point? Somebody else needs to be the skipper. And that's how you get their attention. And if they keep on playing that way, then you start trading guys that you thought were untouchable to get guys in here that are going to play ball for you.
Yeah.
This right here
Yeah.
this is absolute. This is bedlam. I don't understand this.
Our last show, I said we were going to be 9-12.
And we're,
Yeah, you did.
I don't even know our record right now. Is it 9-12?
9 and 11.
Oh,
No, yeah, 9 and 12, is it?
Oh, it was
9 and
9-13.
12.
Oh, it was 9-13 for some reason.
9 and 12, yeah.
But we're going to get to 20 losses before we get to 15 wins.
Matt, what do you think we're on pace for? Wins.
68 wins.
We're on pace for 68 right now, according to projections.
Yep.
That was my thought too there, Kerry, was do you go all in, even if the team sucks this year, go all in for Sandy because 26, everybody should be healthy. Alcantara will also be healthy in 26, more healthy.
Yeah.
I would, at all costs, look to try and get him.
No doubt. No doubt, 100%, no doubt.
That was last year. They labeled him the problem.
They sure did. Scapegoat.
I shouldn't say they. The radio station here labeled him as the problem. And then he went to Detroit and he was absolutely loved by the fans.
It makes my skin crawl that I agree with Jason Lockenfor more and more every single day.
And it makes my skin crawl even more that he's been saying this.
He makes good points. It's the over drawn out, constant Mike Elias hack. You know, when a guy gets picked off third base, it's Mike Elias's fault. Like, dude, just say what you got to say and leave it there, and don't repeat it 79 times over the next 3 hours.
Remember when he called him a jackass and had to apologize to him on air?
Yeah. But
yeah. He makes good points. It's just that it's sometimes it's just
followed by
out
bitching.
to a point where we're all just annoyed by it.
Yeah, he follows his good points by incessant whining and bitching.
Yes. Just make your good points and then let it fester in people, and then they'll start agreeing with you more.
But there is such a disconnect. You can see it. These guys look lifeless when they step to the plate.
He wasn't.
That would be hilarious.
He wasn't.
Harrison.
That would be hilarious.
Harrison.
But getting back on
I was
track.
gonna send Harrison's mom a message just for shits and giggles.
But getting back on track. It is such it's so disheartening to see these young dudes that are in the primes of their careers playing uninspired this early.
Yeah.
And I cannot, for the life of me, understand why anybody in the warehouse is not looking at this sorry sack of shit,
Jesus.
and that's what he is. He's a sorry sack of shit. And thinking, like, go drive Uber, douchebag. It's over. Come on. I'm so sick of this. It's like we're okay with this. Like, both of these organizations are going to lead me to an early grave. Like, they're like, the Ravens are okay with being a 800 or 80% win percentage team in the regular season, but they shit the bed in the playoffs year in and year out with the
Like the
same
Ravens.
guy at the helm. And now here we are. We won almost 200 games the last 2 years. And we're 0-7 in the playoffs. But what are we doing?
Fucking Joe.
What are we doing? Oh, let's trot Brandon Hyde back out here. And our top
I think
four,
it's what pissed most people off. It was not even, was it even 24 hours after they lost and got swept? Where
Did
they were
they-
like, we've
the
got
extension?
full confidence in him, and we're
Yeah.
now. I will say his contract is over at the end of this year. And do you think they extend him?
no,
It might be
No.
over at the All-Star break.
no.
No, I'm just saying in general, like it expires at the end of this year.
It needs
If
to
he
expire
finishes
today.
the season, if he finishes, do you think they bring him back?
No, I got this team inked onto my skin. I will cover that shit up. Like, this is crazy to me. I don't get this. I've been sitting here calm for the most part.
It's brewing, Drew.
This doesn't make sense to me. You literally have a first overall draft pick, a number 2 draft pick, a first round supplemental draft pick, a third round draft pick in all these early 2020 drafts, and you have won 9 baseball games in a month.
And you just lost by 20 plus runs.
There was a football score. They were one more inning away from having the Ravens Christmas score against the Houston Texans. This doesn't make sense to me. And the thing is, I'm not a former minor league baseball player like you, Zach, and I respect you immensely for that path you had in your life. And Tim, you guys are both baseball nerds and analytic nerds. And
We always
I
get
tell you,
called
it's a whole lot of
Every
nerd
show.
shit. It's a whole lot of nerd shit in our chat every single day. But you know what? I love you guys nonetheless. But take the analytical shit out of this and look at this through the eyes of a baseball fan, and nobody on this screen or in these comments should be okay with accepting this.
I don't.
If
think
I hear
anybody is.
Ryan Ripken say the Orioles are fine one more time, I might have a mental breakdown.
I don't think he said it this year. I think
He's a
now
friend of the
saying
show,
it's
Matt. He's
long
a
way
friend
to
of the
go.
show, Matt.
I like Ryan. Don't get me wrong. He's a friend of the show. He came on before the season started. But everything's not hunky dory. Our dad isn't the minority owner, so I can say whatever I want.
It's
It's
he hasn't
crazy.
Said it. I'll give him that. He hasn't said it lately. It's a long way to
because
go.
he'll deactivate his account like Andy Kotzka. I'm so sick of these Orioles. I'm so sick of these Orioles beat writers and these day-to-day guys that cover this team and say things are fine. Cam Bryce needs to go take a long walk off a short bridge. This is crazy.
Jesus, Matt.
Jacob Calvin Meyer, all of them. All of them. The only one I can tolerate is Rock. It's insane.
Tim's all red again.
It's insane to me. I don't understand this. How can
I'm
you look at this team
crying.
and say, "Oh, it's only April"? Okay, but if we go 9-13 every single month until the All-Star break, we're about 20 games under 500. Like, assholes don't know how to add and subtract.
Realistically, what do you think we are at the break? Realistically,
I don't know.
like if this team kept playing the way it was, where they just looked like shit.
They look like shit every
3
day.
games or once every 2 or 3 games. Do you think they're more than 6 games out
At the break?
at the break?
They're
Maybe
10
I'll
games
move
out.
to 8. I'll move to 8.
They're
Do you
10
think they're more
games
than
out of first place by the break.
10
They
games?
might be lucky to have 30 wins at the break.
Yeah.
And here's my Brandon Hyde impression at the All-Star break. There's uninspired. They just can't deal with losing.
I will say,
That's
as
what
as
the
much
fuck
as
they're
we
gonna do.
hate on Brandon, He's got a shitty fucking roster.
I'm
No, he
actually
doesn't.
I'm actually
Mm.
glad the Baltimore Orioles didn't make a trade for an ace type
Stop it.
pitcher.
If I have to read this, I'm pretty sure I at least read this 17 times a day. It's still as funny as it was the first time, but I read it a lot. But nobody even tags him anymore.
No.
Just tag him. He
Like
likes
this,
it.
this is
It's
this is
engagement.
this is crazy to me. Like I stay off of Twitter so I don't get in trouble. Like
No, you
because
don't. You argue with Red Sox fans all day long about David Ortiz taking steroids.
that's on Facebook too. I love it. I make that a weekly thing because he's a cheater. He's an
I
absolute
do it with
cheater.
Buffalo fans. It's fun.
Just like Josh Allen got the DEI MVP award this year. Yeah. I troll other fans because I got to do it to distract myself from the realization that we lost by 22 runs yesterday.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
We don't like. I thought that 30-3 ass whooping was going to be the worst thing I ever saw.
You didn't appreciate Jorge Mateo's 4-pitch mix?
No.
Jorge Mateo needs to be off of this baseball team.
You didn't appreciate Sanchez shaking off Adley?
I look, I was listening in between family obligations and I chose peace. That's what you get. You know what? You can do the little sound box all you want, but at least I wasn't the host that was commenting on my feed because I couldn't get my computer to work. I'm the only non-techie nerd, and I was carrying this show for 17 minutes by myself.
Matt's getting fired up.
I'm sweating through my hoodie right now.
Your favorite player hit a home run in that blowout game, though.
Who?
Adley.
Sadly. You had to bring it up when he was already pissed off, didn't you? You set him up for that. That was messed up, Tim.
Is he with his girlfriend again?
No. Can't you
Because
tell?
I know you love following his TikTok, Tim.
He's batting under 200, though.
And we were talking about it all spring training.
46% of his balls are blowing over the first base.
He's hitting better. He's ripped. He's not Fat Adley anymore. Oh, but he's batting 197 or whatever the hell. Like this is crazy. I don't understand this.
I literally
want
yelled
some-
out loud when I saw the lineup Friday night.
I want
My wife was
somebody.
like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "You just don't ask."
I want somebody in the warehouse to explain to me why Brandon Hyde's the manager like I'm 5 years old.
Because
Matt
I
just
don't-
got a
Matt.
super chat.
Joe paid you $5 for carrying the show for 17 minutes.
I'm gonna go buy my own music box for that $4.99.
Thank you very much, Joe Radke.
They sell small violins for you too, Matt.
Can we
Tim.
buy us another small violin for $4.99?
Tim,
Maybe a bigger one?
you're the only guy I know that dresses like John Cena on vacation.
I saw it cooking.
Oh, God damn it, Tim.
All right, so let's get back on track. If they fired Brandon Hyde, which I'm not really sure if they do, if they did,
Don't you push that evil
do they
Ricky
look
Bobby.
outside the organization for somebody that doesn't know anything going on that would come in here and shake it all up, or they just kind of like find Robinson Chirinos? I don't think they go to Buck. Just
No,
because
I think if Elias
is
remains,
Buck and Chirinos the same age now that I even think about it?
I think if Elias and Sigmadell are still at the helm of the ship, then they find the next yes man.
Chirinos is 40, Buck is 38.
Hate
So I
this
guess that
baseball
doesn't really
team.
matter.
Just hate this baseball team right now. And every time I go to work the next day after a show, oh, you were
it's
there
terrible.
fired up, Matt.
It's terrible.
Your goddamn counter is at 15 right now, by the way.
Are you counting? Do you have
I'm
a
You
not.
already know Joe is counting.
Joe's counting.
Goddamn Joe. No, I'm just kidding.
Joe, he might be one of my favorite people. I'm having an absolute ball with the Schussler clan because they're not this active during our live feeds. But I'm having a ball tonight with Rick too.
They're feeding into you.
Oh yeah. Well, I was talking to all of them while you guys were like, "Oh, my computer's broke." Like,
I don't know. Tim started talking, and all of a sudden the internet went down.
You know how I realized you guys froze? My brother sent me a text message. He's like, "Matt, start talking. They're off the screen."
So you
that's when
froze for me, and I was able to talk. So I was sitting here, and people were commenting. I'm sitting here talking away, and then like Tim was like, "No, you're froze too," and I'm like, "What the hell?"
Yep, everybody froze for me.
it's got to
then
be.
I pulled it up on my phone and could see Matt was still going.
I agree with you, Rick.
So if this isn't rock bottom,
It is, but
Oh no, it is.
I just
like I'm
it
pretty
goes back
sure
to,
they could
to
they
wanting to be the smartest guy in the room, and I
like
don't know.
But
like,
you guys can stream it on the Masson app now for $19.99 a month.
like Helen fucking Keller could manage this baseball team better.
Maybe. Would
No,
they
there's no
respond, though?
maybe. That's factual.
Would they respond though? That's
Yeah.
the thing I need. I could give a shit less about the lineups and stuff like that. If the team responded to it and still played good and still looked like they wanted to be there, they are getting paid. I wouldn't care as much.
They
just
don't care.
Looks like a lost, sad puppy.
No,
Like, did you see that graphic the other day after the game? I don't remember what game it was. Like, Gunnar was just standing there and just staring out into the field on the end of the bench. Him and Kerstad, after a loss. It wasn't even a bad loss. They were just staring out in the field like they just lost Game 7 of the World Series. And they were soaking it all in. And I'm like, dude, this is like game 8.
Yeah.
And you're already like at that point. Like,
Well,
you haven't been here for 2 or 3 days, and you're already at that point.
Dude, there have been some abysmal strike ball calls. And not one
still.
No.
Nope.
Listen.
No.
But not one
Nope.
person on this team
Tim.
has got themselves thrown out yet.
No.
Tim.
Not even
No.
turned around and yelled yet. Like Jackson has come around and throw his hands up a little bit. Dude.
Not one person has gotten tossed yet.
Just chirp a little bit.
Say something.
Something. Just say something.
You got to play good baseball to bitch at the umpires.
A little bit. Jazz Chisholm didn't think so. Of course, he's hitting, what, .95 since he called fans idiots? He still got thrown out. Then he got suspended for coming on Twitter right afterwards and telling it wasn't even effing close. We don't have that. I'd take that.
I would take anything over this because that sack of mashed potatoes and a black pullover that wears number 18 is running things into the ground.
But I'm with you, Tim.
You have a
even
position.
Westberg, they just walk back to the dugout. Like,
they just head down.
Damn.
You had a position player on the mound, literally painting the corner with a couple, and the ump's not giving it to him. The game's 19-1 or whatever it was at that time.
Palmer's up there yelling.
And nobody in that dugout is saying, come on.
Let's get Jim Palmer out of the booth and give him the manager position when you fire Hyde.
No.
Yes.
No. He would
Yes.
not live past that 7th game. This team would drive him to a stroke. We need Jim Palmer around. Don't let him manage. He don't need that stress. Not with this team.
Or make him the general manager.
Probably
And
pretty stressful.
let Hyde go be a nerd somewhere else.
It's probably pretty
So
stressful.
I'm so like, you know what amplifies my agitation to this whole situation? I sat down and watched Moneyball today with my wife.
Mm.
And then
That was a
she's
mistake.
asking me questions, and the more questions I'm answering, the more I'm equating Billy Bean to Mike Elias. And I'm ready for it to be over.
Brick, look, we've been hit pretty hard with the injuries. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. But it's been how many years now? 1, you didn't try to backfill. And 2, okay, you backfilled the outfield a little bit. You went and got Carlson and Lariano in case something happened, and Kowser happened to go down. And I get that, cool. You check that box. Thank you. Were you okay with if something happened down, to just trot Mateo out? I wasn't, but I don't know.
All right, so the next 6 games, where are we? We're 9-12 right now.
We're gonna get swept in DC. So who do we play
And
after that?
Detroit? Oh, we might be 0-6. This is awful. This is the drizzling
I-
shits like in real
if
life.
they go 0-6, even if it's like 2-4,
And then we got the Yankees.
gonna
Oh,
be
this is gonna be
bad.
bad.
It-
This is gonna be real bad.
if it's an embarrassing nine games here, is Brandon Hyde fired after those 9 games? If it's an embarrassing 9 games, even if they win 2 or 3 of them,
How many series have we won, fellas?
1.
One. And then we got Kansas City after New York. And then the Twins.
Mhm.
Oh, this is gonna be real bad.
We're in the
Twins
gauntlet
suck,
right
bud.
now.
This is the
April was
gulag, not the gauntlet.
this April was supposed to be what June was last year. This was our hardest month by far.
And then we got the Angels and the Twins and the Nationals again. We might win 4 games.
Is
We're gonna
Brandon Hyde
be-
fired before May?
We're gonna be 13 and like 27
How many days we
by
got
the end of
left?
May. Oh,
I was
Who's
just
that
getting
for?
ready to say that, Birdwatcher. Just so you guys know, the Saturday matchup is Morton versus Scooball.
oh my God!
I bet
I
you
want to
it's
go.
not.
I just
bet
want
you
to
it's
go.
not.
Oh,
I bet you it's Gibson.
oh! For the love of all that's holy, please let it be Gibson.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Oh,
Isn't it sad that people are like, oh God, when is Kyle Gibson ready? Like that's
How-
bad.
Maybe he'll yell into his glove and give me something to live for,
I don't think so.
because there ain't anything currently right now, and there's no spark. There's
You
no
know what I
fire.
miss?
go get Sidney Ponson. See what beach he's drunk on and drag him up here.
I miss Austin Hayes.
Austin Hayes is hitting over 300 right now.
Well, that didn't even bother me. He just played the game at 150 miles an hour. It didn't matter how many runs we were up or how many runs we were down. That dude just played off the wall baseball all the time. It's probably why he was hurt all the time, but still.
I'm looking at May right now, and our next reprieve is May 30th against the White Sox.
Good.
So
Who
we're
are only
probably
3
going.
games behind us, by the way.
We are probably going to lose every series.
That Cardinals game ain't gonna be a slouch either.
That's why I didn't even say the Cardinals, because the Cardinals are before the White
They're
Sox.
hitting like crazy. They
I'm
can't pitch
going to
worth
lose my
anything, but they're
mind
hitting.
by May 30th. If Hyde isn't fired, this is going to be fireworks. I might go live stream from my bathroom and take a
Did you look at
bath in my
June?
toaster. This is
June, we start on the road in Seattle for 3, and then we're in Sacramento, and then we come home for Detroit and the Angels, and then we're away for 4 in Tampa, and then away for 3 in New York, and then Texas, and then Tampa, and then Texas,
good news, boys. The offseason workouts
And
for
then
the
the
Baltimore
Braves.
Ravens started today.
and then the Mets. Wow.
Training camp's 3 months away. Countdown's on.
That's a pretty rough schedule here. Oh God, August sucks too. Start off with the Cubs, and then the Phillies, and then the A's, and then Seattle, and then Houston, and then Boston, and then Houston, and then Boston, and then San Francisco, and then San Diego, and then
We're
the
going to win
Dodgers,
5 games in August.
and then the Dodgers in the beginning of September. Woo! We might not make the playoffs this year, guys.
We're not. Joe
We
Radke's
legitimately might not make the playoffs.
Joe Radke's 108 wins might be 108 losses.
It's very close. Very,
Oh.
very, very close.
This is like bath with a toaster kind of feeling right here. For sure.
Very true. Very true. In 2023, I would have looked at that schedule and been like, we'll win 30 out of those 20 or 40 games. Now, we might win 10.
This is so bad.
Is it fixable? Knowing that the capability that these hitters have, is it fixable if you get Morton and Povich figured out?
You figure out
or
more
replaced.
by
And or
DFA.
replaced.
And you got to get the offense figured out, too.
That's what I mean. If they start hitting to the potential that we saw in 23 and the start of 24, or even half of it, is it fixable?
It's a lot to fix. It's a lot to fix.
I don't
When
know.
you're-
Yes, you
When
did,
you're
Joe.
when your 3 best pitchers, the third best pitcher being Eflin might not be seen for another month. And then
Do you put $3,000 into your beater, or do you buy a new car?
Depends. Do I just need oil
ask
change or I need
Elias.
timing
Ask
belt and
his
brakes and stuff like
robot
that?
computer. Fucking asshole.
I mean, if it's just as simple as what are the three guys in your opinion that seem like every time they play, the team just looks down? For me, it's Morton, Mateo, and Perez. Do you think just replacing those three guys before Brandon Hyde sparks anything?
Well, I
No.
mean, we let Blewett go and kept Perez, so
We let Coulomb go and kept Perez. Let's start there.
do you know what Colom's ERA is right now?
0.
Now, granted, he doesn't get to pitch a whole lot because they ain't winning too many games.
10
but still.
appearances. 0 ERA. We let this guy go for CNL Perez and Keegan fucking Aiken.
Aiken's been okay.
I don't want okay.
Yeah, I know. I mean, look, if it wasn't for Mateo and Sanchez, the bullpen and Perez, we would have the second best bullpen in baseball behind the Padres. So, I mean, they've been a little bit more than okay, and they're still upgradable, in my opinion.
Zach,
we still could
respectfully-
get better.
Respectfully, I don't give a shit about none of that. We are 9-13.
Fair.
12.
This is rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic kind of shit.
Offense sucks. Pitching sucks. For the most part.
Mhm.
Most of the pitching sucks. Not all of it. Eflin was good.
And he's hurt.
Sagano's starting to look good. If he can
Yeah.
keep stacking good starts, that'll be a step in the right direction.
Sugano's the only one that gives a shit.
Mhm.
Major League 2, baby. He's the only one that cares.
He's got the marbles. All right, we got to get Tim out of here. Adley's got to pee in real life.
She does. She's
does,
fucking
too.
turning her crate upside down.
Joe, how can you hold position players accountable for ERA? You can't, but you can also hold them accountable for scoring 2 runs.
No, what he's saying
Yeah.
is like, why does Mateo's ERA go against the bullpen?
'Cause he's
Which,
technically a
I have
pitcher
the
at that
same
point.
questions. I don't understand it.
He's technically a pitcher. What does that mean?
You start with the bullpen guy.
No.
We don't utilize the bullpen correctly to do that. We only let our guys throw 1 inning.
And not ever back-to-back days.
That pisses me off so much, man. The whole 1 inning thing. Like, cool. Hey, you got us out of the inning and then 6 pitches there. Thanks for your contribution tonight.
We'll see you in 2 days.
Look, you know why most of the guys suck when they come back out for that second inning? Because you don't let them do it enough. When you sit there and then you let them do it once every 8 outings, of course they're going to suck the second time they go back out there. They're not
Fire
used to
Brandon
sitting in the
Hyde.
dugout and coming back out.
Fire Brandon
Why do you
Hyde.
constantly have bullpen issues? Because you use 3 to 4 to 5 guys every freaking night to get through 5 innings instead of using maybe 2.
I hope Brandon Hyde gets fired.
That just hit
That-
20, by the way. You did
That
that
hit
on purpose.
20.
Yeah, you did that on purpose, didn't you? Yeah, but
All right, fellas.
Tim,
Same-
I'm glad.
Same
don't
time,
think we
same
are.
place.
same time win.
Looking at this schedule,
I have to look at my coach pitch schedule when our next game is. I got practice tomorrow. What do we have coming up? Or who do we have? I said. What month is
hold
it?
on. I'm
We're still
pulling
in
it up
April,
now.
right? I don't even know what month it is.
I'm pulling it up now. Give me a second.
We got Nationals and Tigers. So if we come back down on
Nationals,
Monday
Tigers,
versus
Yankees. Yeah.
We're off.
So Sunday, well, I don't even know what day it is. What day is it right now?
When's the Orioles next off day?
So I'll be on with Paul.
Thursday.
Yeah, I'll be on with Paul on Sunday against the Tigers. We could
Why
do
don't we
Sunday
go
morning?
May 1st.
May
That
1st.
could be, yeah, that'll be.
Yeah, we're off. Yeah,
Yeah, we're off
Thursday.
next Thursday.
Yeah.
We can come back next Thursday for everybody. That way we have nothing distracting us for that most part. How
Moose,
you boys feel about that?
Except winning one game between now and then.
my shoulder gone.
Hey. So we in agreement, foul ball?
The
Fan?
only thing to throw a loop though is if they do fire Brandon Hyde, we're on live.
Oh yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
I don't think they do.
They won't.
Now, looking at the schedule, right? If they drop 2 out of 3 from the Nats, get swept in Detroit, and get swept at home against the Yankees, then I think he's gone. At that point, there's no coming back from that if you get swept at home.
May 1st, fellas. May 1st.
I got a feeling we're going to talk to each other a little bit before then.
Oh, on screen probably at some point.
I think
But-
something's going to happen, whether that be via a trade or a firing or something.
Tim, you ready to wrap the show up, buddy?
Yeah, there ain't much to wrap up here. We'll be here next Thursday, barring unforeseen circumstances where we are coming live to you sooner than that. You can find me Twitter, wherever it is. We don't have our names up tonight, but Foul Ball Talk, Facebook,
I did
YouTube,
something the other day and I screwed it all up and I cannot find them anymore.
everything. You know these two fellas above me right here. Where can they find you guys?
Matt's going to go live from the jail when Hyde gets fired.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna let
Phone
the
out
tear
and
burn,
all.
baby. I'm gonna let the tear burn. It's gonna be a party. I'm gonna shove that up your ass one day.
If Hyde gets fired, you get the right to shove that up his ass.
Tim, just breathe slow.
All right. On that note, peace out.
Hour and
You guys have a
57,
great night.
fellas. Thank you everybody for tuning in and being interactive and sticking with us through the technical difficulties. We appreciate you guys here at Pigtown Sports. Zach, Tim. Let's hope something changes between now and May 1st.
Yep. Peace.